Okay, so I've created all my Canon assets and I need to bring them into Unity. I've set up a new Unity project and I've selected this panel, which is 960 by 560 pixels. This gives us plenty of room to shoot cannonballs across the screen. Okay. One of the first things I'm going to do is change this rather somber background for the camera. So I'm selecting the camera object, and here's the background color, and I'll make that a bit sunnier. Yeah, that looks a bit better, doesn't it? Nice and cheerful. Okay, we're ready to start importing. So if I go to the assets, import new asset. Right, so here's my PNG image that I exported from Inkscape. So I'll select that and import it. Didn't go into. I'll just pop that into the models folder. Keep things neat. Now this is all a single image, as it shows here. The sprite mode is single. I want to change that to multiple images, and I need to apply that. Now I can open the Sprite Editor, and here's the image that we've got. I created in Inkscape, and I want to slice that up into different components. So I'm going to do that automatically. We find slice, and it looks like nothing's happened, but now if I click on individual parts of the picture, they've got slices. There's also a pivot point in the center here. This is the point that the barrel will rotate around, and I don't really want it there. I prefer to have it rotating somewhere around there. It's not a precise area, just somewhere around there. Okay, that's good. I'm happy with that, so I'll apply that option, and then we can close the editor. Now you should see that we've got it broken down into different parts. We've got them all there. Good, so I need to create a camera. So I'll start with creating an empty object, which I'll call Cannon. And I'll make sure that that's reset, so we've got 0, 0, 0 there. And I'll add the barrel object first. So this one here. So I'll bring it up and make it a child of the cannon by dragging over the top. I'm going to call that barrel. Right, now I don't want this to be on the default sorting layer. I want to create its own layer so I can determine whether it's in front of or behind something else. So I'm going to create a new sorting layer. Clicking add sorting layer. And I'm going to call this one Cannon. Okay, and then back to the barrel. And the sorting layer is now going to be Cannon. Good. I want the ball to appear from behind this barrel, so I'm going to put this onto ordering layer 1. That gives us room behind the barrel. Now I'm going to add the wheel, which I think is this one here. Yep. So that's going to be a child of Cannon as well, and that's going to go onto the Cannon layer, and I want it to appear in front of the barrel, so I'll put it as 2. Okay, that's not too bad actually. Just zoom in a bit. Move it slightly. Okay, that's nice. Now I'm going to put a ball on as well. So the ball is, I think, this one here. Yep. But this is not going to be a child of the cannon, because it's quite an independent thing. I'm going to call this ball. I'm going to call this one wheel as well. Okay. So there's the ball. It's also going to go onto the cannon layer, and that's going to be on 0. So let's just put the ball is it? Oh, there it is. Right at the centre. There we go. Zoom in again. Just to check for size. That looks perfect. Absolutely perfect. Right. Now I want the cannonballs to spawn from about here. So I'm going to add another child, but not to the cannon, but to the barrel, because I want it to move with the barrel. So I'm creating a barrel and create a new empty child. And that's going to be called spawn point. And I'm going to move the spawn point there. Now, one of the problems with empty objects is that you can't see them, but we do have an option to make them visible using a different symbol. So I've got some symbols here. I'm going to select, say, that little spot there, and now I can see the spawn point even if it's not selected. Yeah, there it is. So it's much easier to select. It only appears in the scene menu. It doesn't appear on the game object at all. It's still hidden. Right, so that's where the cannonball is going to originate from. Now I want the cannonball itself to be an object that falls. It has weight. So I'm going to add a physics 2D component, make it rigid body 2D, and that'll make sure that it falls. I also want it to be able to hit things, so I need to add a collider here as well. So again, physics 2D, and a circle collider will be fine. Let's just check that. Yes, that fits perfectly. Okay. Now we should find that if we just test this, the ball will fall down. Let's just check, make sure that works all right. There it goes, lovely. Okay, so our job is to shoot the ball in an upwards direction and to the right, so it goes in the direction we want. Okay. Now we're going to make lots and lots of these cannonballs. So the ball is as I want it, so I'm going to turn this into a prefab. I've got a prefabs folder here, so I'm going to drag the ball into the prefabs folder. And there it is. Whoops. Go to prefabs. Now it's in the prefabs. Right, the other thing I'm going to make while we're here is the bits and pieces of the structure, which are also part of the assets here. Okay, so we've got this rock. I'll put one onto the screen. Let's move that across. Right, I'm going to rotate that around the Z-axis. So I'm going to make it. Oh, sorry. Rotate. Okay, so they tend to be lintel types. Right, this is also going to be a physics object. So I'm going to add physics 2D, rigid body 2D, and a collider to that as well. Now this roughly rectangular, so a box collider will probably do. Let's have a look at that. It's a bit on the big side. So I'm going to just edit that collider just to make it fit a bit better. It's because of the irregularities. I'm not too worried about that. Okay. I'm going to call that rock. And I'm going to drag that into the prefabs as well. Carefully this time. There it is in the prefabs. Okay. I'll do the same sort of thing with the tree asset. There it is. One of those in. I'll call that a log. used to be a tree, but now it's a log. Alright, so the same thing. It's going to be a rigid body. So I'm going to add 10 of those. And I'm also going to add a collider. Now this one's not terribly rectangular, so I'm going to use a polygon collider here, and that matches the shape. I tend not to use these too often because they're quite memory intensive, but it'll do for this one. Okay, this is also going to be a prefab. I'll drag that into the prefabs folder as well, and those will be the components of the structure. I don't need them here at the moment, so I'm going to reduce them. I don't want the ball there either, because we're going to spawn those as required. So that's where the cannon is. Let's move it to a better position. I'll use this. Okay, so I'm going to move the cannon to the bottom left of the screen. That's going to be our firing position. Okay, we need to be able to do a bit of scripting now.